So, good morning everyone. Good morning, Doc. Good morning, classmates. Again, I am Joshua Rivero, a PhD student, and I'm tasked to discuss the Chapter 6 of the Regional Education Development Plan, aligned from the Basic Education Development Plan. So, now we'll proceed to the Chapter 6 of the REDP, which is Enabling Mechanism, Governance, and Management. Under the Chapter 6, we have 6 parts of the enabling mechanisms. So, we will proceed to the Republic Act 9155 states that the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001 says that provides the framework of the governance of basic education which shall set the general directions of educational policies in a standard and establish authority, accountability, and responsibility for achieving higher learning outcomes. So this is the legal basis that provides for the regional education plan, which is aligned of the basic education plan 2023. According to the Basic Education Plan 2023, governance focuses on the structures and processes that are designed to ensure accountability, transparency, efficiency, responsiveness, rule of law, stability, equity, inclusiveness, empowerment, and broad-based participations. So, enabled to be efficient and effective, the organization's needs for governance and management enabling mechanism define the necessary governance structures in terms of the leadership, people, investment, management system, partnership, external relations that will ensure the efficient delivery of basic education services. So together with that, these factors will create enabling conditions needed to successfully achieve the targets set in the non-negotiable intermediate outcomes. So we'll proceed to the first mechanism, uh, which is the ensure education's leaders and managers practice participative, ethical, and inclusive management process. So, under the enabling mechanism 1 is the teacher and school administrators developments that in pursuit of the goals of professionalizing teachers, school leaders, teaching related personnel, and non-teaching personnel to pursue high standards of learning and management practices aligned with the PPST or the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers and PPHS, which is the Philippine Professional Standard for School Heads. We have also the PPSS, which is Philippine Professional Standard for Supervisors, and we have the LND, which is the Learning and Development Initiative, which is the non-teaching personnel, and different Region 5 were allowed to join for this. So for now, the Deep End Region 5 has almost trained 86,694 teachers and a total of 18,150 school heads, teachers, and specialists, including for that is the APS, Public School District Supervisors, were trained by DepEd in various subject areas between 2015 and 2021. So this covers trainings a lot of subjects or majors such as the English, Filipino, Math, Science, Music and Arts, Accounting and Business, MAPE, Filipino, Philosophy, Sociology, and Social Science. We have also the special program for the arts, TVL, Information Technology, Arling Panlipunan, English, Early Language Literacy, and Numeracy. So what are the outputs under the enabling mechanism 1? So it says that this guarantees that the DepEd Human Resource Corpus is reviewed, reviewed, and strengthened while also ensuring the professional development of teachers and staff. So this is the following intervention and outputs in accordance with the Basic Education Plan 2023. First, reclassify. It is allows teachers to be moved more than one level higher in classification without violating rules. So we have the ERF now, which is one of the promotions that uh, implemented by the Department of Education, so that the teachers will promoted based on their trainings and their education. Second output, we have promote and scrap and build to reallocate the budget of position no longer needed to fund the creations of new required positions. Next, we have adopt and implement the competency-based hiring and promotion system. Next, revise, implement, and closely monitor the SBM policy. Formulate and implement the policy guidelines for a more decentralized PAP, or the basic education situations. The basic education situation analyzed and plan submitted to LSBs, RDCs, and other stakeholders. Implement and closely monitor the policy on synchronized planning and budgeting so that it is allowed that all the regional offices will be aligned to the planning and budgeting of the basic education plan. Develop, implement, and analyze the revised SAP policy. Issues and implement policy on the M&A framework and system. And of course, we have the develop, implement, and advise SAP policy, issues and implement policy on the NM framework and system, provide training and other learning and development intervention for school leaders, namely the school heads, supervisors, superintendent, and assistant superintendent, so that they can better support our teacher to teach better. So, most of the beneficiaries of the enabling mechanism one are the teachers. Ano po? Next, we have strictly implement the merit selection policy so that HR recruitment, selection, and appointment to vacant positions in the DepEd are based on key knowledge, skills, attitude, and desired behaviors, and not due to any form of intervention from other government personnel or similar entities outside of the DepEd. So since we have the new system in terms of the recruitment, selection, and appointment, which is called the merit selection policies, so that the teachers hired in the Department of Education are equipped with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and desired behaviors to have a better learning in our department. Ano po, sometimes nagkakaroon po kasi ng hiring because of we have relatives in the Department of Education, they're not undergo the recruitment. Ano po, so the purpose of this merit selection policy is to hire the DepEd teachers that equipped the skills and knowledge that we have, that we should have in the Department of Education. Next mechanism under Chapter 6 is the enabling mechanism 2, ensure human resources in all governance levels are sufficient, resilient, competent, and continuously improving. So to ensure that its human resources are sufficient, resilient, competent, and continuous improving, the DepEd Region 5 has retooled and skilled education leaders on SIP, which is School Improvement Plans, and EIP, Annual Improvement Programs. So as far as I remember, in terms of the EIP, this is the project proposed by the leaders in school that will implement in one school year. So for continuous improvement of its operations, the SRC, or the school report cards submitted to the SDOs were validated and approved for implementation. The education planning supervisors, or EPS, provide training assistance to school through instructional leadership and supervision, so that all the leaders in the region or in the Department of Education are following the rules and regulations in terms of the implementation of the SIP and EIP. So the EPS will provide training assistance nationally so that the instructions will same or ini-implement na pare-pareho po yung implementation. So they provide critical inputs and recommendation on how the 3-year school improvement plan is crafted based on the context and needs of the school, which is centered essentially on the improvement of the quality of education service and learning outcomes. So the enabling mechanism 2 is aligned with Basic Education Development Plan and PPST, The DepEd Region 5 ensures professional learning anchored in raising the teacher's capacity across all teaching areas. So, for example, here in this DO Masbate, all the learning areas are trained to teach English, or uh, the the rest of the learning areas such as MAPE, Arling Panlipunan, TLE, PSP are encouraged to join the training workshops on how to implement the communication in other teaching learning areas. Ano po? So that ang tawag dito, ano po natin, ma-integrate yung English or reading, writing, and other learning areas. Ano po? So, enabling them to achieve career progression. This capacity building in other training programs are most designed, approved, and prescribed by the NIAP hand in hand with HRDD. The monitoring and evaluation shall be implemented and conducted to ensure continuous improvement and assess its program relevance and efficacy. So what are the output under the enabling mechanism 2? Excuse me, check ko lang. So first, link professional standards to employee assessment, development, reward, and recognition. So, sometimes yung mga teachers, lalo na po yung mga oldie na, they are not participating the said as seminar workshop because according to them, they are old for this kind of matters, or this kind of workshop. So for the purpose of the region, the REDP is to join all the teachers, either what kind of position, age, so that they are acquired the needs, the skills needs for the learners. Next, we have develop and implement employee welfare and benefit standard. Train DepEd personnel on responsive management process to uphold inclusive and rights-based education. Next, apply certification of Prime HRM to SDOs and DepEd RO5. So, the division of Masbate Province are certified of Prime HRM. It easier to apply for promotions, or the SDO are in charge to evaluate the papers for promotions, or this is one of the benefits of the Prime HRM, that the SDO are allowed to evaluate the papers for the promotions. Enable other PAPS to ensure the welfare of the DepEd RO5 personnels. Continuously provide professional development programs, including graduate degree scholarship program for teachers, focusing on their learning area specialization in graduate certificate programs for non-majors. So as far as now, I never heard this graduate degree scholarship program, or siguro hindi lang po kami na-inform dito sa province about this graduate degree scholarship. But we are thankful that this belong for the Regional Education Development Plan. Provide supports in terms of innovative, responsive, and inclusive teaching approaches following the Philippine Professional Standard for Teachers, or PPST. Capacitate the teachers and learners utilizing technology and remote learning to maximize the benefits of digital learning. So, for example, here in our municipality, that one of the factors here are the electricity and the internet. So sometimes we are not apply the technology, or the digital learning, but of course as a teacher we are required to use the technology to have proper discussions, or to have proper knowledge equipped with the learners. So, as a teachers, you should be innovate. Kailangan natin gumawa ng paraan para magkaroon ng ma-integrate natin yung technology in the discussion. So ngayon, ito po yung ginagawa namin. So we buy our own pocket Wi-Fi, so that the the internet will be used in discussing the learning areas that integrate the technology. Fast track the implementation of the career progression policy so teachers get more opportunity for promotions. So, yan po yung hinihintay namin dito, lalong-lalo na po yung mga hindi po makapag-aral ng masters because of their financial stability. So, the career progression is the solutions for them to promote. Ano po? And especially doon po sa mga nag-aim ng higher position, they are encouraged to study, to have a degree in masters for them to promote because of this career progressions. Continuously advocate for additional benefits for our teachers. Ayan. So, of course, since marami na nga pong reklamo ang ating mga teachers because of their salary and benefits. So, we are thankful that the additional benefits for our teachers belong to the REDP. Implement the policies on the distribution of teacher workload and payment of teaching overload as provided in the Magna Carta for public school teachers. Ayan po, ano po. So, we are hoping for this that we are being paid in terms of the teacher's workload, and sometimes you are having overtime but we are not yet paid. So I hope that we will implement or the region will implement for this. Next, we have work towards addressing issues affecting the net take-home pay of teachers. Ano po? So as of now, we are thankful that 5,000 is the minimum the net take-home pay for teachers. Ano po? So hindi na masagad po yung gusto pang mag-loan para kahit paano may ma-take home pa po sila. Ano po? So or may ma-take home pa po tayo. So thankful na po tayo dito sa 5,000 na minimum. Next, we have the provide free legal assistance facilities for teachers on matter concerning okay. So, ayan po. So, when we say provide free legal assistance facilities for teachers on matter concerning, we have, for example, the teachers are not able to provide their own technologies such as laptop, projectors, speakers, in using teaching learning process. So, the school should provide assistance in terms for this so that the teacher will use the technology in teaching learning process. Okay, so that's all for the enabling mechanism 2. We'll proceed to the enabling mechanism 3, which is ideal learning environment and adequate learning resources for learners ensure. So, since we are not totally free from the COVID-19, so it is again the REDP will plan for the ensuring that we are free from COVID-19. So, considering the COVID-19 health pandemic, DepEd, Brigada Eskwela, and other partnership activities focus on ensuring learning continuity and promotion of the health and wellness of learners and teachers by mobilizing essential supplies, ancillary services, and conduct of psychosocial activities and play therapy. Since sustainability is a lens, the role of teachers and parents to motivate learners to practice inquiry, participate in problem solving, critical thinking, community building, and service learning is underscored. A responsive and developmentally appropriate curriculum demonstrate the interdependence of economic, environmental, and social systems. So, it will be integrated in the teaching learning process, or it will be integrated in the curriculum. So what are the and so among the major partnership undertaken by the DepEd Bicol are the following. So regional Brigada Eskwela and Upland Balik Eskwela on air kick-off program. So ito po yung part na parang in-on air nila yung program so that all the stakeholders, student, teachers are they are informed the programs implemented by the DepEd Bicol or the Department of Education. Next, we have the Regional Forum on Bayanihan sa Paaralan. Next, the Unilal Foundation provide online psychosocial workshop and play therapy for both learners and teachers. Ano po, so we are thankful for this that they have stakeholders or private organization that will help the teachers and students to have the psychosocial workshop, because it is important for now because of the pandemic or the stress, tardiness that the encountered by the teachers and students. So we are thankful for this. The next, we have the City Savings Bank for the donations of personal protective gear and equipment. The what is this? So the Tiwala Foundation for their home reading program and provision for reference materials and storybooks, and regional convergence and interface with partners from international NGOs, CSOs, NGS, and development partners. So the Department of Education Region 5 Bicol are thankful for this partnership that will totally help the student, or they'll totally benefited the teachers and learners. So this partnership highlighted DepEd Bicol's continuing partnership with education-focused agencies and institutions such as USAID, ABC+, UNICEF, World Vision, Good Neighbors Internationals, Educo, Children's International, City Savings, Child Funds, Rick's Boxsters, Siamut, Inotech, Wala Kids, and Sunset Care Foundations are to name a few. There is a lot of partners who are willing to help the student and teachers of the Region 5 Bicol to have a better learning process. So, as the DepEd Basic Education Development Plans indicates, the ideal learning environment takes into account not only the availability of the facilities, equipment, and learning resources, but should also ensure that the culture, practices, processes, and system of the school or learning centers uphold the quality, inclusiveness, learner-centered, and rights-upholding climate and environment promoting the well-being of learners. So as of now, we are encountering in terms of the upholding climate and environment because of the climate today, hindi na yung dating kapag April bakasyon na po tayo. So ngayon medyo iba yung parang iba na po yung learning process ng mga bata because of the environment or the climate. Ano po, yung parang ang init ng panahon, wala nang gana yung mga bata, pati na rin yung teachers to equip na magkaroon ng knowledge. Ano po, parang hirap na din yung teacher makapagturo sa mga bata because of the climate today. So we are aiming na maibalik po yung dati para yung mindset ng mga bata is maging okay din po. So what are the outputs under enabling mechanism 3? So first, adopt and implement standards for quality and inclusive learning environment for different learning groups in the new normal post-COVID-19. Ano po, so ngayon yung mga school po natin ngayon, ready naman po sila in terms of the COVID-19, or they are implementing tawag dito, yung mga rules and regulations para maiwasan yung virus. And develop and implement standard for the integration of education technology and teaching and learning. Ano po, so halos lahat naman po ng school dito sa amin sa Masbate ay meron naman po TV and projectors that we will use in teaching and learning process. Formulate and implement standard for learning research development accessible to all types of learners. So, yan po, na-implement na din po dito sa amin. And continue the establishment of inclusive learning resource centers. So far po, wala pang magandang LRC or library sa aming school. Ano po, yung opisina ng tawag dito, na property, yun na din po nagiging library, which is not all the students are allowed to enter, or uh, hindi makapasok yung students because the office of the property officer is in the library. Ano po, so it is a small room which is a little books na pwedeng magamit, pero hindi masyadong nagagamit ng mga bata. So I hope that our school will provide a big library or learning resource center so that the students will use the books that they need in their uh, assignments or projects. Build more resilient schools in classroom through partnership with the various education stakeholders. Yes po, ano po, yung usually dito, meron dito yung mga sa congressman, sa governors, they are partnering with Department of Education or specific schools to build classrooms, gymnasiums, plaza, ano po, so that the school will be benefited for this. So establish fully functional library hubs and their division offices. So I have no idea if our division's office will have this functional library hubs, but in our school we don't have this kind of library hub, which is sana, since ito po ay isang big school, we are one of the big school in division of Masbate province. I hope that we will have this kind of hub para naman napakinabangan ng mga bata, kasi especially kailangan yung internet sa senior high school. They are making a research, but they are expensing the money in a computer shop for the research. So I hope na magkaroon ng free internet, a big library that will be used them during their research. So that's all for the enabling mechanism 3. We'll proceed to the enabling mechanism 4. Improve and modernize internal system and processes for a responsive and efficient delivery of basic education services. So the DepEd Region 5 is working on the challenge of modernizing school system and processes to make transaction easier and more cost effective. They will be carefully planned and programmed to ensure the automation of key process and reporting requirements, such as, for example, in human resource, finance, procurement, assets, and record management. So example for this, meron na tayong the LIS online, the ABIS, NSBI, and the division of Masbate province. I am happy that I belong to the division of Masbate province because we are now the Masbate ay meron po kaming website, ano po, na kung saan ini-input na po doon yung file ng teachers, record ng teachers, record ng bata from how many years, ano po, so parang doon madali na pong ma-download, ma-upload yung files ng bata para paperless na po siya. So we are happy for this na meron po yung DepEd Masbate province. So what are the outputs under the enabling mechanism 4? So DepEd Region 5 recognized the importance of research in designing policies that will enhance the internal system for delivering basic education services. Thus, the operation of DepEd Region 5 and SDOs is based on evidence-based decisions. So first, we have modernize and localize QMS and PAWEM. Next, we have the digitize the processing admission of reports from all its SDOs. So, sana maiwasan na po yung mga parang more on uh, papers na pinapasa natin na po, parang ang dami na mga papel na dinadala sa mga SDOs, which is pwede naman mga soft copies, mga na pwedeng isend na lang sa offices. Kasi for example po dito sa amin, ang hirap ng transportation. We are traveling almost 8 hours para makapunta lang po sa division namin, para masubmit lang yung mga papers na kailangan bago mag-due date. Ano po, so parang ang hirap. So sana tuloy-tuloy na po yung mga digitize sa pag-process and pag-submit ng mga reports sa lahat ng LDOs, SDOs. Next, enhance the disaster risk reduction and response mechanism, formulate and implement a policy and research agenda in all SDOs, increase the submission of research at the regional and national levels. So, for example, here in our division or in our school, ano po, halos na yung mga fresh heart teachers, ano po, nag-aaral na po sila ng masters, ano po, para ma-encourage din sila and ma-learn on how to create a research na mapapakinabangan din ng division and mapapakinabangan din po ng school. Next, implement the human resource information system in all governance at both regional division level. So, parang ito na po yung ginagawa nila na po. Enhance the citizen charter of the bids and awards, committee process, and other procurement procedures. Yes po, ano po, so parang ma-inform din po yung ating mga stakeholders kung ano po yung nangyayari sa or yung mga businesses para ano po yung pwedeng makita pa ng ibang stakeholders. Next, enhance transparency guidelines and methods for all processes and procedures para magkaroon po ng parang unity or pagkakapare-pareho yung mga process and procedure. Kasi for example po sa ibang SDOs, iba yung procedures, iba yung proseso, tapos malalaman po namin iba naman po yung proseso dito sa division namin. So parang I hope na magkaroon ng parang pare-pareho po yung mga processes and procedures, lalong-lalo na po na nasa isang region lang po tayo. Next, we have the optimize the use of technology both online and offline to ensure the learners have opportunity to learn even in the event of pandemic or other emergencies. Yes po, since now we are in a blended learning. But here in our province, sabi ko mga po kanina, parang ang hirap dito yung blended kung ipapractice yung digital learning kasi ang dami pong nasa mga bukid na wala naman po talagang gadget and signal. So, pwede naman po yung blended or offline, which is the printed modules. Ano po? But na-encounter nga po natin during the pandemic na parang walang learning na kukuha yung bata pagdating sa modules. So, we are encouraged na mas okay na po talaga yung face-to-face kahit dito sa amin i-shifting po kami because of ang daming enrollees dito sa school namin. Tapos shifting kami from 6 to 12 yung first shift and yung second shift naman sa 12 to 6. Honestly nga po, based on our experience, yung mga first period na 6 to 6:48, ang hirap, mababa yung grades ng mga bata, lalong-lalo po yung mga taga-barangay na tumatawid ng dagat, na parang hindi sila nakakahabol doon sa first period. Kasi dito po sa amin, yung for example, tumatawid ng dagat, hindi po naman po makakaalis basta-basta yung isang bangka kung wala yung ibang students. So parang sa hintayan, nalilate po sila sa first period. And as an advisor, na-monitor ko po yan na sabi ko parang ang baba ng mga grades ng bata sa first period. Yun pala yung factor is because of the absenteeism and late. So, yun ang ginawa ko, kinausap ko yung subject teacher na please consider yung mga students na nagta-travel sea or land na ganito yung sistema or nangyayari. So, yun naging factor, naging okay naman po na-adjust ng subject teacher yung pwede niyang gawin na activities para makahabol yung mga bata. Next, we have facilitates and continuous improvement mechanism at all governance level by providing timely and vital feedback on the rules and functions to better serve the clientele and improve organizational effectiveness. Identify the situation of the school, their needs, aspiration plans, strengths, and weaknesses that will lead to the formulation of relevant and appropriate strategic plans to ensure effective and efficient school management and leadership. So, I hope na ma-implement din po ito na na ma-monitor po ng mga leaders yung mga nasa babang school para makita nila yung situations, ano ba yung plan, ano ba yung needs ng school. So, para maayos yung pong teaching and learning process. Provide enabling interventions, goals, this is week lang po. Ayan. So, provide enabling intervention is try to help school and leaders achieve their goals and targets and utilize relevant data to inform the TA provides in the formulation and development of policy recommendation and program implementation adjustments. So that's all for the enabling mechanism 4. So we'll proceed to the enabling mechanism 5, strengthen active collaborations and key stakeholders. So the highlight for this is the partnership. The partnership between the school and the stakeholders. Para magkaroon o matulungan ng mga stakeholders yung kailangan ng mga bata at kailangan ng mga school. So, in pursuit of engaging stronger and sustained stakeholder partnership, DepEd has conducted coordination meeting with local officials, continuous collaboration with school authorities, and local official. It is also developed and harmonized regional educational policies for curriculum and governance responsive to the current situation. What is the situation? It is a pandemic and post-pandemic scenarios. There are opportunities that could be used as leverage in pushing for a quality basic education agenda. Existing regional and sub-regional mechanism can be optimized to engage cross-sectoral education stakeholders. So the platforms like the local school boards or the LSB, ano ba yung pinoprovide nila? Nagpo-provide sila ng volunteer teachers, facilities and equipment because there are percentage in their budget. Local development councils, social development committees, and regional development councils are avenues where priority basic education policies, program, projects, and agenda can be progressed in given due course. The increased participations of government agencies, LGUs, and other non-government organizations can be maximized by ilanong resources to support quality education and human capital development. So, we are happy here in our school that ang dami pong stakeholders na nagsusupport sa amin, such as the LSB, the barangays, and the mayor's office is helping us to have a quality education. So, okay, so the LGUs also took an active part in ensuring the continuity of basic education amid the pandemic by supporting the various education needs of the school in their areas of jurisdiction. So, here from the REDP states that the LGUs of Iriga City, Legazpi City, Ligao City, Tabaco City, Sorsogon City, Naga City, Masbate City, the provincial government of Sorsogon, Camarines Norte, Masbate, Camarines Sur, and Catanduanes, in act the resolution and guardians to support the Brigada Escuela program. So they are helping, they have a parang resolutions na all the government offices are will help or support the Brigada Escuela programs under their jurisdiction. So, first, what are the under of the enabling mechanism 5? First, we have the community partnership. So, in community partnership, the schools through the school-based management system are envisaged to engage more proactively the parents teacher association and the school governance councils in crafting strategic plans that will address program, project, and operational challenges towards improving the delivery of education services. This community partnership will also a venue for feedback on functional areas of school operations that need enhancement and the collective implementation of community-based learning activities. So, a vital initiative can explore local partnership is renting parent and community involvement in early grade learning, which can be facilitated through the grassroots organizations and NGOs working on the basic education. So, malaking tulong po na magkaroon yung PTA or the Parent Teacher Associations and the SJC's council, the School Governance Council, ano po, para they are strategized plans para ma-improve yung delivery of the education services. So, mas okay po talaga na nagpa-participate yung ating mga parents sa ating school activities in terms of the planning para ma-raise po nila yung mga or maipaabot din sa kanila yung mga needs ng mga bata or ng mga teachers. Next, we have collaborations, convergence with LGOs and government agencies. This would entail a purposeful and strategic collaboration with local government and regional agencies, especially those in the education sector, such as the City Council, TESDA, and CHED, to strengthen public and private partnership alignment and complementation of the K-12 curriculum on early childhood education, technical vocational courses, and higher education trust. So this is expected to reinforce existing secondary education program to prepare and equip learners with work-ready skills and competencies. Ano po, okay po talaga yun na magkakaroon ng partnership, for example, on CHED at DepEd, para yung mga teachers, yung mga meron nag-offer ng teacher education program, maging prepare and maging they are equipped with the knowledge that the needs of the Department of Education. On the other hand, working closely with LGUs, particularly influencing local education plans and investment program, will be a strategic means to further align the Special Education Fund and additional LGU resources from the windfall of Mandana's ruling with needs-based education priorities. Okay, next we have the industry support. Ano po ba yung industry support? So, this is the continuing challenges of effectively transition senior high school graduates to decent and competitive jobs after pursuing technical vocational courses can be allied by establishing strong collaboration with industry groups in region that can be tapped as partner where on-the-job training or OJT of senior high school students can be maximized in the same manner that industry needs are met by revisiting secondary education curricular offering to match required competency and skills. So, ito po yung mahirap ngayon, ano po, na yung ng objectives ng K-12 curriculum ay after they graduates K-12 the grade 12, makakahanap sila ng work even though they are not going to study in college. But honestly, or here in our school, parang walang product na wala pang product ng school na nakakapag-study in good work, o parang they are paglalaki andun sa construction worker, pagbabae ng crew, parang ganyan po, ano po. Pero kasi po yung school namin are not offering in situ, only general strand. Ang ibig sabihin, pag nag-undergo ng general strand, you need to study in college para magkaroon ka ng mga ng trabaho. Ano po, wala po dito na yung sa TVL na sana after this, pwede na after the senior high school, makapaghanap sila ng trabaho. Ano po, so wala kasing in-offer na in situ. Yun sana yung maganda na graduate yung bata ng senior high na merong in situ para magamit nila sa kanilang pag-apply sa trabaho. So parang ito yung tinitingnan ng matatag agenda ng Basic Education Development Plan. Kaya nagkaroon sila ng crafting ng bagong curriculum, which is the K-10, at pinag-aaralan nila ngayon yung K-12 na para talaga na pag nakagraduate sila ng senior high ay magkaroon sila ng magandang trabaho. So yun po. Next, we will go to the last part of the chapter 6, the enabling mechanism 6, enhance and strengthen public and private education complementarity. So DepEd Region 5 is significantly directed to provide all possible leeway and technical assistance to ensure functional complementarity rules among schools in the educational system. Both public and private is likewise directed to ensure appropriate and reasonable supervision and regulation within the bounds, its capacity, and mandates. It is from Section 4 of the 1987 Constitution. So anchored on this, private education is highly recognized as a partner in providing quality education among Bicolano learners. Hence, private education provides alternatives in lieu of several considerations pertaining to availability, extensive services, etc., wherein learners and parents theme in a rightful choice for attaining quality education. This situation significantly strengthened and enhanced complementarity between public and private education system by virtue of the principles prescribed in the 1987 Constitution supporting adequate, complete, inadequate, integrated systems of education within a school in the region. So the output for this enabling mechanism 6 are: develop and implement a workable complementary framework, enhance and implement a manual of regulation for private school, institutionalize organizational and human resources for qualified personnel in private school. So, moreover, the senior high school voucher programs gives every junior high school student the necessary leeway to continue in senior high school with the help of financial and aid from the government. So, mas maganda po ito. Ano po, for example, graduate ka ng grade 10 or nag-completion ka ng grade 10 sa public school, then gusto mo mag-aral or mag-aral sa private school para madagdagan yung knowledge mo, or may gusto mo doon kasi nag-offer yun ng ibang strand. So the government is providing the financial aid named the Senior High School Voucher Program to have a free education in the private sector. Ano po? So malaking tulong po ito para ma-expand yung kaalaman ng bata na hindi niya nakikita sa public school or wala sa public school na nandun sa private school, na may provide ng private school sa mga bata. So it is best way that the government will help the learners to have a free education in the way of the senior high school voucher program. So that's all for the chapter 6. We will proceed to the chapter 7. We have 4 indicators or 4 parts under REDP implementation and monitoring and evaluation. First, we have the REDP implementation plan. Next, we have the REDP monitoring, evaluation, and adjustment strategies. 3, we have the policy and research agenda and communication strategy. So what is REDP? So the REDP implementation plan. So the regional education development plan serving as the framework for the region's priority directions, program, policy, and measures adheres to the national and international aspiration of our education landscape. So implementing the REDP underpins a multi-sectoral approach from the national to the school level. So the overall framework emanates from the principles, development agenda, and targets of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, where Goal 4 is the focus. This goal concentrates on educations and aims, so according to UNDP 2030, to ensure inclusive and equitable quality educations and promote lifelong learning opportunities. Okay, so the figures below shows, or these figures show the hierarchy of the plan's implementations from the national to sub-regional levels. So figure 29. The hierarchy of plan implementation based on the DepEd governance level. So, kung makikita nyo po dyan, yung international, the SDG, the 2030, yung national is the ambition natin 2040, PEDP 27 to 2022, and now we have the BEDP, the 2030, yung matatag agenda, the regional REDP 2023 to 2028, the division development plan, Division Education Development Plan from 2023 to 2028. Same with the School Improvement Project 2023 to 2028. So plan implementation requires a powerful purposeful set of actions from the different regional offices to the SDO and schools. So the different offices and units jointly and collectively implemented each components of REDP according to their respective mandates, supported by complementation efforts from external stakeholders. So the entire process seeks to align the REDP with the policies and research agenda, directions, settings, strategic communications, monitoring, evaluation and adjustment. Ano po? Meron nga tayo yung SMEA. Responsible offices per level of governance are expected to deliver targets and commitments as part of the fulfilling REDP's development agenda and instilling accountability for delivering education service and outcomes. So ultimately, planned implementation should be result-driven and agile to the involving basic education landscape. So, the detailed REDP implementation arrangement and strategies are found in the table. It will be shown later. It covers first, number 1, setting goals and objectives. Number 2, communication, alignment of targets, roles and responsibilities, tracking and reporting of progress, and adjustments. So this is the table number 28, which is the REDP implementation arrangement and strategies. First, arrangement and strategies are setting goals and objectives. So from DepEd Regional Office 5 to Regional Office Functional Divisions. Next, we have the School Division Offices, next school, and external partners and stakeholders. So I will discuss only the setting goals and objective, then so that we will have an idea about the process. So in setting goals and objectives under the DepEd Regional Offices, what are they going to do? So they are going to lead the formulation of the regional development plan, which is aligned with the DepEd CO and priority agenda of the education sectors in the Philippine Development Plan and Regional Development Plan. So the functional division under regional office are going to design, plan, and prepare the REDP 2022 to 2028 anchored on the DepEd agenda for the basic education sector on the development plans of the country. So what we're going for the school division office, they need to design and set in formulation and implementation of the education development plan goals based on the identified needs of the SDO and anchored in development or the department's development plan for school. So they prepare and plan and implement the division education development 22 to 28 goals based on the identified needs of the school in anchor the department development plan. So after that, for the external partner stakeholders, they identify education goals and objective to the support of the R1STO goals. So parang yun yung process from the REDP to DADP hanggang sa SIP. So ano po yung mga ginagawa ng division office, ano yung gagawin ng school after they forward the DADP, gagawa naman yung school ng SIP aligned to the division education plan, since the division education plans is aligned with the regional education development plan 2022 to 2028. So that's the example. So next we have the communication line of target. So yan na lang po, basa na lang po. Basta yun yung process. Kung paano pino-forward na from or anong ginagawa ng school, ng division office after the regional division, the different regional office will design and plan about the REDP. And yan po, we have the rules and responsibilities, tracking and reporting of progress. So ano po ba yung involvement ng mga division in the school? Okay, now we'll proceed to the next part, which is the RAB monitoring, evaluation and adjustment strategies. Okay, so monitoring, and evaluation are pivotal components for a successful program implementation. So yun yung pinaka-importante para makita natin if the program and project will implemented. So it is need to monitor and to evaluate the program so that makita po natin yung strengths and weaknesses ng isang program. So the implementation of the RDP is supported by DepEd monitoring and evaluation system at different level of governance. The monitoring, evaluation, adjustment or MEA, so ito yung ginagawa ng mga teachers and the school heads after the quarter or examination, the quarterly examinations. They are required to have this MEA to see kung kumusta po yung performance ng mga bata. Program Management Information System and External Internal Audit System will be used by DepEd Bicol at its monitoring and reporting mechanism. So recognizing the role of regional institutions, bodies, the DepEd will also report to the Regional Development Council, to the Social Development Committee, and the Regional Project Monitoring Committee at its quarterly meeting on a significant accomplishment in education's issues concerned that may require RDC policies or budget supports. This mechanism will be used to strengthen the program and project management capacity of DepEd. Sabi ko nga kanina, they have a quarterly meetings para makita po yung performance ng bata or ng projects ng isang school if they are implemented properly. Kailangan pa ito ng support o kailangan ba itong i-revise, kailangan ba itong i-improve. So ito yung pinaka-goal ng monitoring, evaluations and adjustments strategies. Okay. So what are the guiding principles under the REDP MEAS? So the REDP MEAS design will have the following principles. Inclusiveness. So inclusiveness. For DepEd Bicol REDP MEA to be more effective, it should be prioritize equity and be capable of identifying the total numbers of learners, the diversity of learners, their level of performance, and the geographical location. So inaalam po dito yung ilan yung number ng learners, diversity, yung performance nila, kumusta kaya, bumababa ba or tumataas, and yung location ng mga bata. Next, we have the outcome-driven. All M&E strategies of DepEd Bicol will focus on the KPIs across the 4 pillars, which includes the access, equity, quality, and resiliency and well-being. So, the focus of the DepEd Bicol is to focus in the 4 pillars. So next, we have the rights upholding. DepEd Bicol through the MEA will monitor and address the rights of learners such as access to quality educations, safe and nurturing learning environment, and supportive systems. It will also track learners' empowerment through access to quality facilities, consultation mechanism, and redress mechanism for rights violation. And last, we have the utilization focus. The purpose of M&E work is to improve planning. All ME outputs, reporting, requirements, and activities will be used to enhance the quality and scope of education plan, create basic education policies that responds to the demands, enhance program and project design, and adjust DepEd's enabling mechanism where necessary. So, the REDP MIA framework for 2023 to 2028 allows the same structures as the BEDP, outlining its objective, strategies, and mechanism. It also includes indicators to measure performance and progress and to validate regional targets against the results. Framework in the executive summary. So ito po yung REDP results framework. So what is the goal of the REDP MEA? All Filipinos are able to realize their full potential and contribute meaningful to achieve to cohesive nation. So the sector outcome, the basic education Filipino learners have the physical, cognitive, social-emotional, and moral preparation for civic participation or engagement in post-secondary opportunities in their local, national, and global communities. So, into the intermediate outcomes of the REDP MEA, which is undergo for the four pillars, the access, equity, quality, and resiliency, and well-being. So, ano po ba yun nandun sa access? All school-age children, out-of-school youth, and adult have access to the relevant basic learning opportunities. Equity, school-age children and youths and adults in situations of disadvantage benefited from appropriate equity initiatives. So quality, learners are resilient and aware of their rights to end in education are respected, protected, fulfilled, and promoted while being aware of their responsibilities as an individual and as a member of society. So resiliency and well-being, learners complete K-12 basic education having attained all learning standards that equip them necessary skills and attributes and confident to pursue their chosen paths. Ano po, so makikita dyan yung mga possible outcomes ng mga bata. So, enabling mechanism governance, you have the modern, efficient, nimble, and resilient governance and management processes. So, what are the goals of the different Region 5? Is to care, share, and serve with a smile. Ayan. So, we will proceed on how to operationalize the REDP MEA framework. So, I will not discuss the outline of the scope of the BEDP MEA frameworks. Ano po, we will proceed to kasi ang haba po nun, so we'll proceed to operationalizing REDP MEA framework. The REDP MEA framework will be operational into 6 distinct but integrated strategies. So, are the 6 such? First, we have establishment of baseline, quarterly program implementation review, annual implementation review, midterm review, result monitoring and evaluation, and impact evaluation. So these strategies are designed to ensure a more systematic and systematic approach to monitoring, tracking, evaluating, and enhancing BADP implementation. So the figure number 32 presents an overview of the BMEA strategies. So ito po yun. Ano yan? Yan. So this is the REDP MEA strategies. So from REDP excuse me. Excuse. So we have the three in the app, which is the baselining, result monitoring and evaluation, and impact evaluation. So it nagsimula po siya sa Regional Education Development Plan, down to annual plan. So since 22 to 2028 po. So kung mapapansin nyo, every year sa phase 1 implementation, nandun yung annual implementation review, same pa rin annual implementation review, 2024 annual implementation review. So after the 3 years, in 25 between 2026, nagkakaroon na po ng midterm review. 2026 to 2027, meron na again po yung annual implementation review hanggang 2027 to 2028 annual implementation review. So ano po ba yung process dyan? So lahat yan after a year nagkakaroon ng planning. So, sa baba, the operation plan activities and input monthly sa January, monthly data collection between February. Sa April, andun na po yung March to April, program implementation review. Then after that, another monthly data collection, tapos program implementation review. Between July and August, monthly data collection. Then September to October, program implementation review. And November, December, monthly data collection. So parang yan lang yung process ng MEA. It's MEA. So, the REDP MEA scope and responsibilities, primary stakeholders involved in the implementation and management of the REDP MEA are first, Policy Planning and Research Division. Next, Quality Assurance Division. CAD in the region, SJOD in the division, lead M&D staff to be assigned, representing HR of function division, and last, school M&E team. As the primary stakeholders, the units mentioned above will lead the conduct of MEA strategies and manage the REDP MEA strategies. Sila po yung in charge ng data collection and program review. So, in the table number 34, this is the existing DepEd information system na nagagamit natin for the ngayon, sa mga data. So, information system and database. So, Republic Act number 10173 or the Data Privacy Act indicates that the information system and database that will facilitate access to key data information to analyze performance, prioritize concern, and make decision with due consideration of the requirements on data privacy is critical in the implementation of the M&E program. So, adapting from BADP, so in this table, it shows the following mechanism that will be enhanced in their function. So, andito yung sa mga sources, para magkaroon ng proper implementation ng MEA. So, ito po yung mga existing DepEd IS. First, yung Learner Information System or LIS. Ano po ba yung data and information na nandito? We have the enrollment by region, SDO by school, by grade level, by section, by special program, and school forms. So, what are the needs? You have the information, personal information of the learners, the birth name, the last name, middle name, birth date, address, the father names, mother names, region, ethnicity, and the mother tongue, date of the first attendance. So, dito yung medyo may problema. From sa kinder 1, umaabot pa yung problema ng kinder 1, umaabot pa yung problema from kinder to grade 12 pagdating sa mga birth certificates, the spelling of the name, which is, kaya we are encouraging us to sana PSA na yung ginagamit ng bata sa grade 1 para pagdating sa high school, konti na lang yung error or sana wala ng error, pero sa ngayon umaabot pa sa grade 12 yung problema ng mga spelling, ng birth date na sana na-resolve na in the lower year level. So ano yung sino nagpa-process dito? Yung planning service ng RO, yung SGOD, and the school head. So, sa Basic Education Information System, ano naman po nandito? Meron tayo dyan school profile, the school name, school ID, address, school district, legislative district. The contact number of the school, the website of the school, the email address of the school, and the date of the establishment of the school. In terms of the human resource data, the number of teachers, the specialization of teachers, and the plantilla positions. We have also the learners with disability data, the number of adaptive and assistive devices, number of functional equipment. Andun din po yung sa DRRN, the disaster calamities, disaster incidences, school disaster management, etc. Andun din sa ABIS yung school health and nutrition data, the youth formation data. So, sino yung in charge po dito? The planning service sa region, yung sa SDO, yung sa SGOD, and yung sa school, syempre po yung school head. So, pagdating naman po sa NSBI, which is the National School Building Inventory, so ina-assess or ini-input po dito yung existing building structure, existing rooms per building, how many TLS and makeshift room, existing number of water and sanitation, existing furnitures in other facilities such as gymnasium, covered court, entrance gate, perimeter fence, playground, and school garden. So the in charge for this, same with the rest. Next, we have the Program Management Information System, or PMIS, work and financial plan, the budget, activities, physical and financial targets, program profile, their obligation, disbursements, and available balance. So, yeah. So, all other mechanism and database developed and will be developed by the CO as indicated in the VDAP shall be adopted by BICOL if necessary. So, we have in the third part, which is the policy and research agenda. So, the organizational policies are set forward toward the progressive implementation of programs and trust. In the Bicol region, these policies provide guidance in the conduct of basic education research to capstones evidence and relevant data for continuous improvements of practices, mechanism, and organizational outcomes across all levels of governance. So, the narration of national policies is evident in localized programs and educational trademarks in Bicol, such as implementations of the DepEd mantra, the DepEd Bicol cares, shares, and services servisyo mabilis at maayos alay lagi sa edukasyon. So moreover, the region is responsive in recovering learning losses and gaps through the implementation of RACE, which is recovering for academic achievements and by improving instruction through sustainable evidence-based learning programs. So these are all anchored and data provided by all the SDOs. So with the existing and emerging global, national, and local trends and issues in education parlance, Region 5 Bicol continues to advocate the department research agenda or BERA towards improvement of basic education theory, practice, advocacy, and policy. So the table here provides the proposed themes and areas of focus for regional policy and research for the next 6 years. Ayan. So, in area, we have the teaching and learning. The context here, the primary role of DepEd is to provide quality basic education to all Filipino by ensuring that learning outcomes are achieved by maximizing the competency of teachers and other factors. So, ano po yung mga topics na pwede dito maging research? So, the pedagogy is teaching methodologies, study habits, aspire progression of the K-12 curriculum, use of mother tongue, and K-3 and impact of learning outcomes and assessment of learning and tools. So, ang dami pa po dyan na mga pwedeng topics. So, lampasan na lang po natin. I-share ko na lang po yung slides. Ayan po, sa child protection and development, human resource development, and that's all. Okay, so DepEd Bicol considers the following proactive programs to ensure these priority developed areas of access, efficiency, and participation in case strategic priorities are integrated. So, first, child mapping pupils, student tracking system, the whole visitation, adapt school program, regarding eskwela, child-friendly school system, last mile school system, early childhood care education, conversion of multi-grade to monograde classes, the no collection policy, school-based reading program, early enrollment registration campaigns, child protection program, constructions and repair of school building classroom, provision of textbooks, learning resources and computer packages, hiring of teachers, provision of water, sanitation, and hygiene in school, and guidance and counseling. So, the region recognized that the nature of research in DepEd is about knowledge creation in schools and for schools. Teacher-based on school-initiated research that subsequently benefits for the school and Bicolano community. So, yung result po ng research na ito will be disseminated to the internal external stakeholders so that they will inform the policies, plans, and program project identification. So, it is important for us as teachers to participate in a research agenda or make a research to have a better learning process or to have a quality education. So, so kailangan natin maging participative, mag-research so that we can identify the problems and solutions to the problem races in our school or our division or even though in our region. Now we'll proceed to the last indicators of the chapter 7, which is the communication strategy. So in this part, the REDP will have a plan to have a proper communication between the learners and the teachers and also to the stakeholders. So communicating to the REDP is a broad range of internal and external stakeholder requires an effective mode of communication that will reflect and enforce the goal and objectives of transformative basic education in the Bicol region. The communication strategies in this plan will establish a positive school environment, community awareness, syempre kasi para ma-aware po yung community natin what will the project, what will the updates of the Department of Education. And of course, it is engagement that will emphasize direct, relevant, and far-reaching benefits of the nurturing a quality basic education for all. So, the ultimate objective of the communication strategies is to encourage participation not only from teachers, learners, and schools personnel, but more importantly from the education stakeholders who are the enablers of the regional basic education sector. An important entry point of the REDP's strategic communication is to impart the long-term impact of investing in quality early grade education or K-3 as one of the fundamental steps towards achieving holistic human capital development in the region and the country as whole. The credibility of the REDP, its overarching goal should be supported by a transparent and participatory approach that engages cross-sectoral stakeholders proactively engage in basic education reforms in Bicol. So the DepEd Bicol have pursued sustained communication linkages with public and media partners to promote appropriate awareness of relevant information that needs to be disseminated among stakeholders. Media relations are done through periodical reaches and TV interviews. So, para magkaroon po ng proper information, relay of information. So, ito po yung mga plan ng regional education development para po maiparating sa mga, hindi lang sa mga teachers, hindi lang sa mga students, and of course, sa mga stakeholders. So, the table below provide a communication strategy that DepEd will pursue in the medium term to support the implementation of the REDP and elicit the ownership and participation of internal and external stakeholders. So, focus is equitable access to education. So, ano yung message dito? No Bicolano learners is left behind. Bicolano learners, let their voices be heard. All school-age learners must be in school and finish basic education, or every learners in Bicol matters. So, andyan po yung objective. For example, in equitable access to education, the objective of this is to emphasize the importance of bringing all school-age children to school. Even learners with disabilities, personal and learners barriers should be given the opportunity to be part of the school system and participate fully. It is through the education system that our learners' skills and competencies are developed in nurtured with the guidance of teachers and socialization with other learners. So, target audience are the parents, learners, school administrators, community, barangay leaders, teacher, government agencies, NGOs, private schools, LGUs, learning centers, and alumni. So, what are the channels? We have the radio-based program, sponsored video shows with government information officers and the division of information officers, press release, press briefers, social media such as FB, Twitter, Messenger, and blogs, video clips, leaflets, pamphlets, newsletters, TV ads, shows, memoranda, education forum, webinars, and text brigade. So, meron po sa quality and relevance, andyan naman po, i-post ko na lang po yung slides, stakeholders, engagement, and empowerment. Ayan. So, sabi nga niyan, the good practices from communications efforts or initiative that resulted in change and development in the behavior of learners, along with extensive aid of other stakeholders, will be documented to ensure that these are replicated in other similar initiatives that may be undertaken following the same objective. Further, cross-sectoral feedback from RDCs, LGS, and other partners will be formed part of the iterative process of communicating continuous improvement and adaptation or adoption. So that's all. Thank you. I hope you learn from my discussion regarding from the chapter 6 and chapter 7 of the Regional Education Development Plan. That's all po, and thank you so much for listening.